Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around in the world. Welcome to Connect the Dots, folks. This is going to be a phenomenal episode. But before we get started, here in Thailand, I just celebrated Chinese New Year. For those of you who speak Mandarin, Gong Xi Gong Xi. For those who speak Cantonese, Gong Hei Fa Choi. In Thai we say Kong Ngen Noi, which basically means give me my money. I'm just joking. But really, we're going to have a fun episode today, and I am joined by my guest today, Beth Granger. Beth, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Doing really well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, folks, you know the drill. We're going to have a casual conversation. Entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners, you're going to get tons of value out of today's episode. Today, we are focusing on profiles that attract clients on LinkedIn. Now, who's with me? Who has a LinkedIn profile, has no clue what they're doing with it, yet they have a semi-successful business and they're somehow sustaining without LinkedIn, but we're going to add this to the whole portfolio of tools that we use to attract clients, build business, and be better. Sound good to you, Beth?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
My favorite topic. One of my favorite topics.
Excellent. So before we get started, folks, I'm going to introduce Beth to you. She is the CEO of Beth Granger Consulting. She has 10 plus years experience in what she does, so that basically makes her a pro, obviously. She helps people accelerating prospecting and LinkedIn learning curves. So basically, whatever you want from going to point A to point B on LinkedIn, she is the person to go to. She is a trainer, consultant, speaker, and community builder, which basically I will show you her Facebook group link later on or put it in the description below. And if she wasn't doing what she's doing right now, she'd actually be a painter, chef, or teacher, which I admire all of those career paths. Who was once trying to be a teacher and a one life coach here. And something really cool about her is that she is a walking GPS. I don't know how many walking GPSs you guys know, but she's the first for me. So, without further ado here, we're going to basically talk about this. Hopefully, we're going to try and wrap it up in about an hour, but I want to ask this question to you and set the preface. What are the secrets to building a profile that gets clients on LinkedIn, Beth?
So I don't know if they're secrets. It's just that there are people that haven't thought about them or don't know them. So I like to think of it as your foundation of everything you do on LinkedIn. And it's not your resume. So a lot of people think it's your resume. And yes, if you're looking for a job as opposed to running a business, there may be things that you do slightly differently. But as a business owner, I actually sort of use it instead of my website. So it is the place for me to tell my story and control the message about myself and my business. And there are some very specific little things that are important, but really it's thinking about it as the place to tell your story, share your expertise, and communicate with people so that when they're given your name or they find your profile, they say, yeah, this is a person I either want to get to know, I want to do business with, I want to find out more.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm going to do this without further ado, guys. I'm going to put myself on the table here. I'm going to be the guinea pig for today's session. And basically, Beth is going to hack away at my profile. And we're going to see what I've been doing right, what I've been doing wrong, how can I improve. And I've given Beth the okay to basically tell me, Alex, this is crap. Or, Alex, this could be a little bit better. Let's do it this way. All right? So here we go. I'm going to bring up my profile here, and for those of you who are watching, don't laugh, okay? I did try. LinkedIn isn't my main source of clients, but I am looking to dabble in a bit more, and if I can just get my profile up here, hopefully we can learn something from Beth, and we'll make it a little bit better. So here we go. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. I'm going to scroll slowly here, and hopefully we can go through section by section. Sound good, Beth?
All right. Well, first of all, what if we were working together? The first question I would ask you is, who is your ideal prospect or client? Who is it you're trying to impress with your profile?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know, the old adage question of what is your niche and how you find your people, your ideal avatars. For me, I like to say my ideal avatars are ambitious entrepreneurs that are looking to make money doing what they love and basically create the lives they want without feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and anxious.
Ooh, nice. Okay. So let's look at this. And it might feel weird for some of you because I'm going to be looking down at the screen instead of looking at you. So the first thing I see that's a good thing is you've customized your LinkedIn URL. So up at the top there, because if you don't do that, it has your name and then it has a whole bunch of numbers and it just doesn't look professional.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in a browser when people aren't even really noticing that, but in other places, maybe your email sign off or any, in the old days of business cards, right? Anything that where you would put your URL for people to click through, you want it to look professional and yours does. So that's a good thing.
Thank you.
The next thing is you have a photo. That's important. People don't want to do business or engage with just an empty head. And one thing for everybody to check, I don't know if they changed something, but there are people who have a photo, but the settings are set wrong so that it only shows to their first connections and they don't even realize it. So sometimes I'll come to a profile and there's no photo and they say, "What do you mean? I have a photo." So
Oh,
do check in those settings to make sure that it's visible publicly to everybody.
interesting.
Now, here's something I think you could do, and maybe you waited and didn't do it so I could comment on it, but that is that background graphic. So the rectangle behind your headshot.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay.
I think of that as your personal or professional billboard. You can do so
Mm-hmm.
much more with that space. It's not clickable, but it can be a graphic. It can have text. It can have photos. So you've probably seen that on people's profiles. It's kind of like your personal billboard.
Yes. So that's a really great question, or I guess this would be a great time to ask you. Yes, admittedly, I was waiting for this because I didn't know what I was supposed to put here. I had a picture of Vancouver, BC, is where I'm from. It was a long time ago. I put it there and never really paid attention to it. But what are the elements that really need to be there in order to be a powerful profile for people to notice you?
So there are no rules. It really is what will help people understand either who you are or what you do. So, for instance, I'm a speaker. A lot of speakers will have pictures of them up on the stage or now virtually speaking. Or if somebody has a book, they'll somehow put the book in the graphic. Um, if you're a consultant, maybe you have a picture of you in a meeting or leading a meeting or with somebody. So it can be simple, it can be have multiple things, and really it should go with your brand. So for instance, if people visit you on LinkedIn and on Instagram and on your website, it should feel the same. They should know they found the right person.
Right. Awesome.
And
All right.
super
So,
easy tip for people.
yeah.
I started as a graphic designer, and I hate to say don't hire a graphic designer, but there's an amazing tool that some of you may have heard of, Canva,
Yeah.
canva.com. Really easy to develop a graphic for that background.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, Canva is one of the go-to tools that I use as well. I too come from a graphics design background, and I know how painstaking it is to, we're creators. We love to create new things. You don't have to waste the time on it, guys, although it does feel great to do it. Canva is such a great tool, and I do use it myself, so wonderful that you brought that up. Was there anything else that you want to add to the banner there that we should add?
No, that's great. And you can change it. That's so I kind of keep mine the same for a while and then when I get bored with it or whatever. But I know people who use it to promote things. If they're putting on a webinar or an event or some kind of thing, they'll change their background graphic to say, something about that event.
Nice. Awesome. Perfect. So, going to the next section here,
Sure.
as I had mentioned, this is kind of my elevator pitch, if you will, right?
And that is good. So I like to describe that headline text as your 220 character elevator pitch.
Hmm.
So it can be a sentence, it can be phrases. but I always pick on, there's a bank, Citibank. I always pick on them. I don't know why. But if your headline says VP at Citibank, that doesn't tell anybody anything. Practically everybody's a VP at Citibank, right? That works there. So maybe if people added something, VP at Citibank helping mid-market businesses raise capital, or I don't know, I'm not a banker. But so the fact that you say who you work with and how you help them, that's a great thing to do. Now, as a business owner, that's definitely the way. For someone looking for a job, for instance, they may want to think about getting those keywords in there for, because I don't think people are looking necessarily for what you and I do on LinkedIn. So
Mm-hmm.
the search engine optimization may not be as important, although it still could be.
Okay.
But for someone who's looking for a job, definitely want to get the terms in your headline that you want to be found for.
That's really interesting. So, I guess the question came to mind was you mentioned how typically people wouldn't be looking for you and I on LinkedIn, right?
Although
What?
maybe they are. I mean, people have found me that way. So,
Wonderful. So I've heard of this old tale that LinkedIn is a great way to generate organic traffic, right? So we want to have basically a landing page that is powerful so that they want to reach out to you and further talk to you. Now, would
exactly.
you be able to kind of expand on that and talk about the organic traffic generation and how people or maybe yourself have done that successfully?
Sure. So yes, the headline is one thing because that's one of the first places when you do a search that the system looks in, but it looks through your whole profile. So having the terms in the different fields on your profile would be important. So whether it's in your about section or in your skills, and you'll notice when you do a search, it highlights where it finds that word
Mm.
underneath the results. So definitely having the terms you want to be found for in there. And then this is going to sound kind of maybe counterintuitive, but engaging with the content of other people is incredibly powerful.
Hmm.
So, for instance, if somebody has a post and you comment on it, not only is the person who you've commented on is going to see it, other people who are commenting may see it. And then have you seen in the feed how it'll sometimes say, you know, so and so liked this post or somebody commented on this post?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yep.
way to expand your reach. An example, I once did a post and I said, I'm looking forward to moderating a panel on social media and healthcare. Thank you, Northwell, for hosting us. Thank you. Mentioned the panelists. Here's what we're going to be talking about. One of the panelists wrote back and said, I'm looking forward to this. Someone she knew but did not know me yet saw that because it said, she commented on this, clicked through, read the post, clicked through to my profile, contacted me, told me the exact line in my profile that made them contact me and said, we're doing a conference this fall on social media and healthcare. What's your speaking fee? Could that please happen every
Hey,
week? Right?
why not? Please,
So there was
yes.
some strategy in that though, right? By
Mm.
appropriately tagging someone so that they would hopefully comment, then more people saw it.
Oh, I love that. So there you have it, folks. Secret ninja tip right here. You
Don't
want to
tell
comment?
anyone.
I'm sorry.
I said, don't tell anyone.
Oh yeah, especially if you're watching this, definitely don't tell anybody. Um, but commenting and interacting on people's posts, you would think that this is so intuitive to people. We're on a social media platform, right? But a lot of people think LinkedIn, and even myself to some extent, thought it was just as a resume. Just post it there. Job headhunters will find you, or you connect with people that you've worked with before, just kind of like a professional Facebook, right? But it's so, enlightening to know that you can do this just by attracting people, just by being showing up as yourself and commenting and just, having your profile ready so that people are primed to offer you opportunities like this.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so going back to it, let's make my profile look like that so that we can
All
have people
right.
reaching out to me. All right. So next section here, where am I looking at, Beth?
So the about section,
Yep.
if your headline is that 220 character elevator pitch, to me your
Mm.
about is when someone's after you say who you are, they say, "Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more." It's where you can
Mm.
tell your story. If you've had an interesting career history, if there's a reason behind what you do,
Mm.
if you're comfortable with it, maybe something personal about you. And there was someone, and I wish I had a screenshot because I think he's changed it since. Someone I knew once started theirs with, "I've been in sales since my first lemonade stand." Now that's like saying once upon a time. I want to read that. I want to know more.
Yeah.
So you want to capture people in those first two lines because that's all that shows typically in first view. And you have quite a bit of space to really tell your story and make it a little tip for people. First person, don't put it in, it's not your bio that you would send to somebody. It sounds funny if you came to my page and it said Beth Granger is, it would sound like I didn't write it and you're not hearing from me.
Right.
Yeah. So you have more space that you can do more with on yours.
Yep.
I kind of like yours though, because it's a little bit like it's almost like a poem or a little story.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
So
And
so the background about it was, to identify my ideal people that I work with, right? It's basically describing who they are. And that's how they're saying, these are questions. They're saying, are you a high achiever? Right?
yeah.
Um, and basically creating that like, know, and trust factor so that they know what they're coming to. And and then at the bottom here, I'm going to add in a section where, well, maybe this could happen to you. And if it could, or if that's something you want, come talk to me, right?
And people will notice that it's about the reader and less about you, which is really interesting because it you're talking to them and it can pull them in an interesting way then rather than just I.
That's right. Okay. Is there anything here that you would add? Would I add some more text? Add a
Well,
story? What do you think?
you could, for instance, it depends how comfortable you are sharing that information, but I have my email and my phone number right in my about section because I want to make it as easy as possible for people to reach me. So
Mm.
if someone, for instance, isn't a connection and I want them to be able to reach me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't want that because they don't want people to try to contact them to sell them things. But I think in the space that both of us are in, making it easy to contact would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I will take that to heart and I will add that in. Shall we go to the next section here?
Yes. So that featured section, I love that you have that there. Some people don't even know it exists,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what some people may have heard the term a scroll stopper. That's as you're scrolling
Mm-hmm.
through on your phone or on the computer, it's going to get your attention. So it's your place to share exactly like you have video, PDFs, content that helps people understand what you do or sees you in action doing it.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. And so, I mean, that's great to have. For me, I've used it for client testimonials, how they've interacted with me. Are there any other, I don't know, pieces of articles or posts, videos maybe, that have really you've seen success with your
Um,
clients or for yourself?
yeah. So something that I personally do is my first currently, I mean, I change it whenever I want, but the first featured item I have is an on-demand webinar. So it's a webinar people can watch, sign up to watch. I get their email address so then I can contact them.
Hmm.
So, and I can promote that to people saying, I'm in Clubhouse, I'm in a room. I can say, oh, go watch my video in my featured section on my profile.
Hmm.
So it's a way to give something of value but also start a conversation because if somebody watches it, you get their email address, you can have a conversation.
Nice. Lovely. Yes. So obviously, for those of you who are watching, you guys know very well email lists are golden, right? You want to be collecting those emails, whether you're at the beginning of your business or further down the line. I've known so many people who just totally forget about that, and they kind of regret it later on. So make sure you're collecting emails now, guys. Obviously, you don't want to spam. You want to send them value only. Um, but yes, emails are so crucial. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something I could add to mine too, is add a webinar or something that is of value to the people that come by. Should we go on here? I don't know. Well,
We
I'll
can
show
skip
this
the
to you.
dashboard because that's
All
just
right.
for you.
Okay.
That's just an easy way to get to who's viewed your profile and other things.
Okay.
For the activity section, that comes up audit based on your activities that you do, the things that you engage with. So there's really nothing there other than clearly you do have activity and you're active on the platform.
Yeah.
The next section, experience, and this is where I have, and this may be something you've thought of doing, but waited so that we could talk about it. You don't have a business page. If you had a business page, that gray little building icon would be your logo or some kind of graphic.
Okay.
And it would give you more space on the platform to control the message about your business. And I kind of feel like when it's a gray box, it doesn't feel like a real business to me. It legitimizes, that's hard to say, if you have a business page, and then people will be able to click through to see more about what you do. You'd still be doing most of your engagement as you, the person, because people like to talk to people.
Right.
But definitely would be great to have that business page. And it allows you to do some things. For instance, if you ever wanted to do advertising or creating an event from the business page as opposed to from you, the person.
Awesome. Yes. No, I did not know about that, but thank you for pointing that out.
And it's different than a profile. So it's not going in and making a separate profile. What you would do is it's under the work icon, the little waffle. I think that's where it is, at the bottom of that. So if you click on work, up on the top right.
Okay, yeah.
Click on that. And then see all the way at the bottom, it says create company page.
Gotcha. All right.
So once you create it, then you'd go back to your experience section and hook it up to it by saying that's where you work. You would remove what you have and you would start typing in and it would pop up.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, that is a very useful tip, and I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to here, now we were talking about how people use this sometimes as a resume, you know, as an archive of where they worked. What would you recommend actually including in this section? I mean, maybe it's information that pertains to your current position. Is it worth it to write your history? What do you think?
So I would add information that helps people understand your skill and your experience. So even if it doesn't apply to what you're doing now, if, for instance, you gain some skill because of it, you know, maybe it was team building or leadership or whatever it might be, you can put information about that. Plus, a little tip for your current role. You know how you'll see on some people's profiles, if they got promoted, you'll see 2 roles under their current company. So you can do that for you, but have different either service offerings or roles within what you do. For instance, on mine, I have a separate role for being a professional speaker, or I have a separate role for a specific program that I offer. It just breaks things up and makes it easier for people to find those things.
Oh, that's really smart. Good.
All within your one business.
Right. Excellent. That's a really helpful tip as well. So thank you for that,
folks.
It is sneaky. Getting around the system, gaming the system. Here we go, folks. So I myself, you know, I haven't touched this in a while. It does have my former positions. Would you recommend leaving them there or removing them?
Leave them there. It just shows, you never know where someone will find a connection, right? There may be somebody worked at the same company as you, and so that gives them a reason to reach out, or it just shows your path and your experience, and it tells your story.
Lovely. All right, I will definitely leave those there then.
Yeah.
All right, next section we have education, licenses, and certifications.
Yes. Yes, you have them, and that's good. So people should definitely um, connect to those things if they have them. The next
Good.
section is one of my favorites, volunteer experience. It's
Mm-hmm.
it shows what you care about. It
Mm.
shows that you're involved in other things besides business, and definitely, and it helps promote the organizations that you care about, right? So if somebody's scrolling through your profile and they see a nonprofit that you have been involved in, maybe they'd get curious about it and check it out, and it helps the organization and you.
Yes. Good. Good. I'm glad I left that there then, because that was a
Yeah.
fantastic. I went. Well, little backstory. It was called the coldest night of the year. My
Ooh,
wife was pregnant, and we had to host an event for a 10K walk for about 300 people.
that's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Honestly, in retrospect, we were kind of crazy to actually try and take that on while she was pregnant. But we had fun nonetheless, and it went off without a hitch. It was wonderful. So for those of you who haven't heard Coldest Night of the Year, it is, I think, it's an international event. So definitely check that out. Um, all right, going forward here, skills and endorsement. I mean, people do this randomly, and I do it for them as much as I can. What do you think about this?
So when they first added this feature, I kind of thought it was silly and a waste of time. And what's that about? But since it's there, how am I going to use it? I started thinking about it. And again, if you're looking for a role, at a company, it's very important to have those things. I actually, yes, I put the things that are my skills there, but the way I use it is on other people's profiles as a little thank you. So if somebody makes an introduction for me, I will go and endorse them for something that I know that they can do, not randomly, because you've probably all received endorsements from people for things and they have no idea that you can do them. So
Hmm.
for things that you really know the person can do, it's a little thank you.
Nice. Oh, I love that. That's a really, really great idea. And I can totally see how that's appreciated by folks who receive the endorsements, right?
Yeah.
It boosts their credibility, and it was a wonderful way to say thank you. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
one thing also is people don't always know that you get to decide which the top three things that show are. So the default, I think, is some based on the number of endorsements you've received. But if you have something up there like Microsoft Word, you don't need that. You want the three most important things you want people to know about you.
Gotcha.
So, for
Okay.
instance, you might not want data analysis to be there anymore. You might want something more along the lines of what you're doing now.
Yes, for sure. All right. Good to know. I will definitely change that up. um, Recommendations here. Anything else that you would add here?
Just that they're a wonderful thing. And I get asked all the time, is it okay to ask for a recommendation? Yes, it is. But if you're kind of uncertain or not sure when or how to do that, the perfect time is if somebody's saying thank you. They're on the phone or through Zoom or however they're saying thank you for something. That's when you say, you're welcome. Would you be open to writing that as a recommendation on my LinkedIn profile?
Right. Oh yeah. No, definitely. Um, so what I do with my clients is that I have a form. I
Mhm.
have to fill it out. There's a preset questionnaire, and if it's some create a testimonial, they can post it there if they want. But obviously, no pressure. So yes, that's a wonderful point. I can have them put it in LinkedIn as well. So I will do that for sure.
They have to do it and they don't always know how. So
Hmm.
the thing is, if they say, oh, yes, I'd love to, that you initiate it from their profile or from your profile by requesting the recommendation. It'll make it easier for them. They might not know how.
So you can actually send them an invitation to write you a profile or a
Correct.
recommendation.
Correct.
Gotcha. So you're clicking right here, I'm assuming, and then you go ahead, send that off to them.
Person
I got.
and yeah. And
Excellent.
what's great about these is you can download them so you don't have to retype it and you can use them on other things. So you can use them on your website. You can use them on any printed or PDF material that you might have.
Right. Oh, I love that. I didn't know LinkedIn was that versatile. But thank you.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we have accomplishments.
Yeah, and those are great things to add if they make sense. For instance, that you speak multiple languages. I wish I did. Projects is a good one because you can actually, if it's a team project and you worked on it with other people, you can actually link them to it and both people have it show up on their profile.
Hmm. Wonderful. Yes, I will do that for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else there you want to add?
No, no.
Okay.
I think we took your profile apart as much as possible.
Wonderful. So there you have it, folks. I mean, I'm assuming this is what Beth does with her clients. She runs through the profiles, basically gives them her 2 cents, and buffs it up so that it's ready and primed for a, well,
And
sounds like it could be yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually branded it. I call it a digital diagnosis.
There you go. Digital
Uh-huh.
diagnosis. I love it. All right. So for those of you who are watching, definitely check out Beth's stuff. She's going to do a digital diagnosis for you if you want. Just reach out to her and she will set a call up with you. I will put the links or contacts in the description below. Um, and I hope that you guys have success with your profile. But before we end this episode here, is there anything else you want to add, Beth? Did we miss anything?
Ah, I think it's really just that some people are not sure how to engage and how to behave once they have their profile. They just leave it. LinkedIn is a wonderful place. It's kind of like an always on networking event where you
Hmm.
can stay in touch with people you already know, meet new people, join conversations, start conversations that all can lead to business and other things, just a broader community too.
Hmm. I love that. And I love how, especially on any platform, you're reaching out to these people. And for me, I love to give value. So I'm saying when I give my opinion, I will give my insights, what I got from it, thank them for what they're doing, and maybe see if there's a way we can collab or something like that. Is there a way that you've seen that has worked better than that, or a different way that would work better?
So, really, I think all has to do with your approach. So, we've all received connection invites, for instance, from someone we didn't know. And it may have had a message, but the message may have been self-serving for them. It may have said, I'm looking to increase my network of insert your job title, right? That's about them. I don't care that you're looking to increase your network of what I do. So if you engage authentically, just like you would in person, if you met somebody in person, you wouldn't immediately begin trying to sell them something. You would have a conversation. You would get to know them. You would ask about them. So I think behaving like that in all your interactions on LinkedIn will help you much more than trying to push something or ignore it altogether.
Definitely. I too, I am, I won't say victim, but I am one of the people who receives all these messages from all these people that I don't know, and they're trying to sell me right away. And I think, I've heard the fastest way to make a person run away from you is to say, "Hi, my name is. I'd like to sell you this, this thing." Um, and it really escapes me to think how people would treat others like that on a platform like this. It's a powerful platform, right?
So much so. And I don't know about you, but I'm also noticing it's a wonderful place to, when you meet someone somewhere else, for instance, Clubhouse, that we're all addicted to now, it's a great place to then continue the conversation, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on Instagram, so that you can have an actual continued conversation. Perhaps you could collaborate with them. Perhaps they know people that you want to know and vice versa. So it's, and it's a great place to keep in touch with people as well. I actually downloaded my contact list recently, and I'm going to reach out to my very first connection to tell them that they might not know they were my first connection. And have I talked to them in a while? I don't know. So,
Nice. Oh, that's a really fun activity to do. Definitely.
yeah.
So, folks, if you're listening, maybe you could do it too. Download your contacts, figure that out. I probably Google it, um, and go reach out to them. And if you want, watch this video. Let us know how it goes. We would love to know how that goes, what comes of it. So, I want to jump to the next section here of the show, and this is one of my favorite sections. It's called Rapid Fires. Before we do that, folks, if you're watching, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button if you haven't already, and we're going to hit the Rapid Fire section here. So Rapid Fire, the way it works is basically we're going to ask Beth a few questions, and she's going to give us the top answer that comes to mind. No holding back. You ready, Beth?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. I love this section. Question number 1. What fashion trend do you just not get?
Holes in jeans.
Love it. Nice. Yeah, I'm one of those people who said, I just buy the jeans and I make the holes myself and I'll pay half the price, right? Next question we have, what do you value most in a friendship?
That's a great question. Honesty.
Love it. Next question. What's a secret most people don't know about you? They know now that you are walking GPS. What
Yes.
else do they not know about you?
Oh, do not know. That I'm crafty. I like to make things. I started as an artist, so I love to knit, crochet, paint, glue, and that extends to fixing things too. Although I'm better at taking them apart than putting them back together.
Lovely, lovely. You can tell by your graphics and everything that you do on your LinkedIn page, you're definitely a crafty person. So awesome. Love it. Next question we have, how do you define happiness?
Um, I don't know if I can define it. You just know it when you feel it. It's a wonderful thing, and let's all have more of it.
Nice, lovely. What is your best feature?
Best feature. I don't know. I'm not sure I know what you mean by that. Uh,
I'll leave it open-ended. You can decide anything.
um, I have no idea. Best feature. My brain, folks. It's my brain. It never
Love it.
stops.
There you go. Awesome feature to have. Question number 6. What is your favorite Halloween costume?
Oh. This is the best question because you may not know this about me. That could have been the secret, but I love Halloween.
Okay.
And I've won contests. Yeah, I love Halloween. The best one's always the next one.
Nice. What was your... Okay, now I really want to know, what was your favorite Halloween costume that you've worn?
Oh, I can't pick one. I tried to be very cerebral once, and a friend and I went as two eggs, and we wore all white with a yellow dot, and we had a sheet cut out, and we laid down, and we had people pour salt and pepper on us. It was kind of like a performance art piece.
Oh,
But we didn't
nice.
win the contest. The woman that came dressed as Pebbles from the Flintstones won the contest. So that will
Oh,
tell you.
well.
But it was
All right.
fun.
Sounds like fun. All right, here we go. Next question. What makes you smile?
Oh, so many things. Puppies,
Puppies. Love
jokes, being outside, but puppies.
it. Lovely, lovely. Next question. If you could teach any grade or subject, what would it be and why?
Oh. Well, I kind of already do, right? I teach LinkedIn, but in a more traditional school setting, what would I teach? I would teach art.
Nice. Lovely. And finally, what impresses you?
Authenticity,
Authenticity.
being people
Love it.
being who they really are and coming across that way.
Lovely, lovely. So, folks, there you have it. Beth Granger. This is where you could find her. Uh, I'm going to pull this up here as soon as this works for me. Beth Granger. This is where you find her. Definitely check her out. Email her. She's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. She's on Clubhouse. You definitely want to talk to her. And
And
if
I
you have
look
any
like I'm
questions,
frozen.
your video is frozen, yes, but the slides are still good. So, and we can hear you just fine. So I'm not sure what's
Excellent.
going on. Sorry for the technical difficulty, folks. Beth is still here with us. So again, thank you, Beth, for a wonderful, wonderful episode. So much value. I learned a lot about LinkedIn, and I definitely have some work to do. So I want to say thanks again, and I look forward to the next time.
It's so great to chat with you. I got to stop looking at my frozen face, however, but this has been great. It's been great. I love that that you can meet people across the world and do these kinds of things together. So a lot of fun.
Definitely. All right, Beth, you have a wonderful day, I assume, where you are in the world, and I will talk to you soon.
Excellent.